make sure you watch this review before you buy this. Some people in the reviews are having problems with it because they don't know how to calibrate it, and they've made a mistake without realizing it. So Rhino USA digital tire inflator, 200 PSI, really nice unit. They give you 2 different options here. You've got your clamp-on connector that you see right here, and then they also give you the other style connector here that you can screw on. These are interchangeable. You just unscrew these, and then there's an O-ring on here that keeps it sealed. I like the clamp-on connector, clamps onto the valve stem really nicely. You see there whenever you use that action. Now here's where some people are messing up. Whenever you get this, you can turn it on manually by pushing the on button, or whenever you plug it into an air supply or put it on the tire, it'll automatically turn on. But be very careful. If you hold down the on button, that is the calibration button. So it's going to calibrate to 0 if you hold the on button down for about 5 to 10 seconds. So make sure you do that when there's no air in the line. You don't even have to do it right out of the package, but I actually messed it up. I couldn't figure out why I was reading 5 PSI off because I've always had great luck with Rhino products, and I was just really surprised it wasn't working for me. And I realized as I was messing with it, I had inadvertently calibrated it, and that's why it was reading off. So right here, we've got our inflator lever. And then here, we've got a deflator button. So if you overinflate and you want to let some air out, you just push that button and it'll let some air out. You want to turn the LED on, hit the units button, that'll turn on. And then you've got 4 different reading settings. I'm keeping it on PSI. Now we'll go ahead and clamp this on to my valve stem here. For best results, make sure you're pushing it firmly in place and that you don't hear any air leakage. So you see right there, I've got 29.5 PSI. If I want to let some air out of that, I can just use the button over here, and it's going to deflate the tire. So you see I let about 10 PSI out right there. I want to target 30 PSI, so I'm going to bump that up to about 30. Got a bit too much there. There I'm 30, right on the nose. Now we'll go ahead and test with my other Rhino USA tire gauge. And that's reading right at just a hair above 30. Now this is how some people screw this up, okay? So this is an extreme example. I'm gonna hit the button here, so it's reading the actual PSI in my line. So I'm at like 120 PSI. Now watch what happens when I hold down the on button. It's gonna 0 this. And see, there it went to 0. So now watch, whenever I put this back on the tire, see what happens here. It's reading 0, even though we know there's 30 PSI in it because I just calibrated this to some insane amount of pressure, so now it's way off. So to get this right again, what I would want to do is let all the air out to be safe. I'm going to go ahead and just take it off of the air line. So it's reading 0. Now I'll go ahead and hold down the on button again, give it about 10 seconds. And it's tricky because it doesn't tell you that it's calibrating, but it is. So about 10 seconds, I'm going to take my finger off. I'd say that's good. Let's put the air back on and go back to the valve stem. And you can see now we're at 28.5, so it's leaking air a little bit. But that is a mistake that you don't want to make, and it might cause you to have wrong readings if you do that. Overall, I think this inflator is a really nice unit. It does everything that you need it to. The only downside to it is with that whole calibration thing. Took me a second to figure that out. For a minute, I thought the unit was defective, and there's nothing in the instructions that mentions that feature. So be aware of that. Otherwise, excellent product overall. I'm always a fan of Rhino USA stuff, and I think that you'll be pretty happy with this inflator.